Hey, I am here today with a phenomenal business leader by the name of Warren Chaiken, who is the president and COO of Almo Corporation out of Philadelphia. Warren, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, Dirk.
Yeah, you bet. Hey, Warren, we're here to talk about a couple of things today in terms of leadership in both your business life and your professional life. And I think there's a lot of things that our listeners can learn from you today. So if you don't mind, let's just get right into it. And let's talk about your business, because I'm really intrigued with Almo. You are in a dynamic business that is going through a lot of change, a lot of transformation. You're in the consumer electronics business. You're a distributor of consumer electronics and appliances. And that business is going through transformation. And I know your customer base are these, what I call mom and pop dealers that are competing against the Best Buys of the world and the like. And I know your mission at Almo is to help your customers grow and prosper. Can you just share with us a little bit about Almo, your organization, and this leadership that you bring to the industry and your commitment to help your customers grow and prosper?
Sure. First of all, I think everyone at Almo wakes up every morning with a very simple thought. One is to add value through a world-class distribution.
Love it.
So once you do that, everything else is simple, and then we break it down to different segments of our business. And the one you're speaking about specifically is the independent dealer channel, which could be a family-run business that has 3 or 4 generations working there, to a multi-regional store today that we're supporting, because many of our vendor partners realize the most efficient way through the market is going through distributors like ourselves.
Yep.
So what we look for is that as we've continued to evolve is trying to find value-added services for our customers. And let me give you a couple. One is that a few years ago, our dealers were looking for multiple lines. So they had one shop or one place to order Frigidaire product or Samsung product or Bosch, GE, or LG all in one spot.
Yeah.
So today we offer all those brands to our customers. That makes it easier for them. And I don't want to steal something from Staples, but we like to use, I want to use the easy button. Yep. If it's easy for our dealers, then ultimately they're going to keep coming back and they're going to be able to do business the proper way. Another thing, many of our dealers over the last couple of years finally got involved in the internet. Again, a lot of these people are in rural areas. They didn't have the internet connections. Maybe they only had dial-up and all that. We've now taken our whole invoicing system and moved it electronically for our dealers. But more important than the invoicing, we send advanced ship notices to our dealers. So when they open the truck up every morning, they know exactly what's on it already. So there are little things that we do that add up to big things. And I think one of the other things that's very important for our dealers is we're their other warehouse, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So from that standpoint, they don't need to carry the inventory of all the different TVs or appliances that they have, so it helps their cash flow. And number two, they're not worried about the next day that the TV that costs $1,000 now will cost, that they own, now costs $900. We work with our manufacturers, so we take that risk and we then pass on those benefits to our customers. Really, the other value-added goal that we have or service is that many of the independent manufacturers today don't have the money or the time or resources to go after these smaller dealers. So one of the things that we have is we have 55 plus outside territory managers that are knocking on their door every week to say, hey, Mr. Customer, have you thought of this? Hey, Mr. Customer, is your display a little bit different? Have you thought about doing this? Do you know about these things? Can I do a training for your sales team so they know what they're talking about when a customer comes in? By the way, we offer webinars so that our dealers can, en masse, see what's going on, learn about the latest product and innovation, so they're really up to speed on all that. And when you add all that up, the bottom line is for our company, we're winning market share in the marketplace, and which is good for our customers and good for our vendors, which ultimately means it's going to be good for our company.
Yeah, love it. Thank you. Striving for that world-class distribution it really does. You know, a lot of people can throw out the term world class, but it really does take significant leadership and vision on your part, Warren, to truly make it happen. And as you alluded to, by you guys not just talking about it, but you doing it, delivering it, you're able to grow your business, take that market share, which is good for you, your suppliers, and your distributors. So thanks so much for that. Now, I also understand that you're committed to this excellence, if you will, not only in business, but outside of business. And I understand that you're real involved with a great organization called the Crohn's and Colitis of America Foundation. Warren, can you tell us a little bit about the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation and why you're associated with it, please?
Sure. Well, let me tell you first why I got involved with it.
Please.
When I was 14, my mom diagnosed me because I had a bad stomach. She diagnosed as me having a nervous stomach.
Okay.
Unfortunately, my mom's not a doctor.
She's not an MD, huh?
Right, and the pain continued, and I went to a doctor and found out I had this thing called Crohn's. I didn't know what it was, but I took medicine for a lot of years.
Your mom probably didn't know what it was, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and ended up ultimately, unfortunately, having to have surgery. And today, I'm really happy to say that I'm asymptomatic.
Nice.
You know, I still take some medication for it, but I don't have the same symptoms, yeah, as other people do out there. And there are about 1.4 million Americans that suffer from Crohn's, and just as scary, there's about 150,000 that are under the age of 18.
Wow.
And like myself was. And the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation was founded in 1967, really with the goal to eradicate or find a cure for Crohn's and colitis. They're really two different diseases that affect the somewhere in the bowel system. And basically, it's an inflammation of the bowel, which they really term as IBD, or inflammatory bowel disease.
Okay.
And you know what is neat about this organization is the only national voluntary nonprofit organization that's dedicated to this. But more importantly, besides fighting for a cure and raising money that way, they're really focused on education and research and support programs for those that are affected by it. So, as examples, real quick, Dirk, you know, they have camps for children, and most children who have some sort of either Crohn's or colitis, they don't want to talk about it. It's not a fun thing to talk about. And, you know, we were talking before, this isn't really a non-sexy, crappy, no pun intended, disease.
And Warren, Warren, let me interrupt just for a second. I'll come back to the camps if you don't mind. So just tell me, because of you, and thank you, I've learned about Crohn's and colitis, but how about a 14-year-old child or a 12-year-old child that has one of these symptoms? Because I understand that there's a lot of different things. Can you just, you know, tell us briefly what could life be like for somebody that's living with this, a child? Sure.
One, let's say you're in the middle of school and have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I mean, and maybe you can't get to the bathroom in time.
Wow.
Could be that you have a debilitating pain in your stomach somewhere.
Wow.
That literally you're doubled over, or maybe you can't even get out of bed. You know, maybe, you know, a perfectly healthy child one day, next day can't get out of bed for whatever the reason is. You can't eat because you don't feel like eating. You could be throwing up. You know, all these things that are, you know, you and I consider, you know, you don't worry about.
Don't even think about it.
All of a sudden, these kids are dealing with this. And some, you know, the doctors are still trying to figure out a lot of things, and especially with children.
Sure.
Do you have to take steroids? Now all of a sudden something changes in your appearance. And, you know, as a 14-year-old, either boy or girl, that's not a lot of fun.
It's hard.
So, you know, my concern is I don't worry about me. What I worry about is my friends, and also more importantly, my friends' children and my nieces and nephews that are out there that potentially could get this disease. And the goal is that this thing gets cured so that they never have to worry about it.
And thank goodness for the foundation to be fostering that research, to be fostering the education, and then doing some great things. And I interrupted you. I apologize, like this camp for children.
Right. I mean, they have camps out there today that children can go to, and it's called Camp Oasis. They have it once. They have it. At least the local foundation has it here, and once in August, kids go there, and they're all the same. So they all know that they have potential issues,
Nice.
and they can be kids, and no one's worried about, yeah, I have to run to the restroom, or
Right.
today's not a good day, and there's webinars, and there's support groups, and those are the things that help you get through the day while they're working on a cure for these diseases.
Cool, Warren. Thanks. And I believe I believe the website where we could learn more is www.ccfa.org. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah, thank you. And I've been on that website, and there's a lot of great information, and I would encourage us all to do it. Now, let's take it one step further, if you don't mind. Trying to link this
Sure.
whole thing together. Your leadership in the industry, your interest in the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, doing some great things for those afflicted with it, Warren. And I appreciate you doing that. If I heard it right, the foundation in Philadelphia had a meeting. They said that we needed a chairman for this gala that they're having, and you had missed that meeting, so they had named you chairman or something like that. I don't know if I heard that quite right, but I understand you're bringing some of this leadership from your business world to the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation in the Philadelphia area, really bringing a whole nother business model to one of their fundraisers. Could you just talk to us about that a little bit?
Yeah. First of all, as you mentioned, Dirk, the main point of jokingly is never miss a meeting. But I really was honored to be asked to be chairperson for our gala. And when we met, we realized that we've been doing this gala for 36 years up to this point. This will be the 37th year.
Wow.
And the last couple of years, with I think the economy changing, with maybe people's habits are changing or lifestyles are changing, unfortunately, the revenues for the event had gone down. And we started to take a look at it, just like you take a look at your business model, and you go, well, something's changing. We need to figure out what's going on. We need to evolve this thing. We need to make this more exciting. We need to talk to our customers and understand what's going on and why they're not either attending or contributing the same as they were in the past.
Yep.
And what we found out is people's lifestyles are changing. They don't want to run to a typical black tie, rubber chicken sort of dinner where there are a bunch of speakers and and waste, quote unquote, waste a Saturday night because they feel obligated to go.
Right.
So we changed up the event. We have it at instead of doing a black tie now, we're going to do a casual event, cocktail casual or whatever you call that. And we're going to end up having it at a place called the Simeon Auto Museum, Simeon Foundation Auto Museum.
Cool.
And it's a very cool old car collection and new car collection that this gentleman has amassed in Philadelphia. Wow. And we're going to have the event there with basically a way for people to stroll through during cocktails, right?
Yep.
But also have learning stations, which I think is almost as important as the money, so people understand what the different things that the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, at least locally, is doing, as well as nationally. So they'll learn about the Take Steps events that we're doing. They'll learn about the Sipping by the River event that we do. There are a whole bunch of neat things that we do. And by the way, they'll learn about the webinars, which if your child has Crohn's, God, what a great resource. You can then just go on the CCFA site and learn about, what I can do, how I can help my child. Maybe there's a support group I can learn and get my child involved in that, or myself. So we're doing that. And then on top of it, besides having some speakers, because, we are honoring a gentleman by the name of James Lewis that is really one of the leaders in the Crohn's and Colitis research area.
Okay.
We then also are going to do, instead of just a regular dance, we have an a cappella group. Again, something fun, something different to grab people to this. And the point of it is not as much, we obviously need the money to keep running the research and all the other things that are associated with this group, this wonderful foundation. But just as important, we need to make sure people are educated.
Hey, great job. And I love how you're shaking things up, man, not only in the distribution field, not only in the retail field, not only at Almo, but you're shaking things up in terms of, hey, let's take a look at our business model for this gala, and let's go and drive some new interest. And great stuff.
Dirk, thank you very much for doing this. And again, I just want to thank people in advance for supporting the CCFA.